There's one more story that I wanted to cover in that. Have a look at this one. It says Muhammad, when he grew up, he says, "Oh, what actually happened that day?" Because um, while I was with the brother of mine behind our tents shepherding the lambs, two men in white raiment came to me with a gold basin full of snow. Then they seized me and opened up my belly, extracted my heart and split it. Then they extracted a black drop from it and threw it away. But then they washed my heart and belly with that snow until they had thoroughly cleansed me. So I've already told you that story. But look at this one. Then one said to the other, "Weigh him against 10 of his people." Oh, guess what? What happened? They did, and I outweighed them. So Muhammad was heavier than 10 men. Then they weighed me against 100, and then 1,000, and then I outweighed them all. So one of the two men said, "Leave him, mate. Leave him. By God, if you weighed him against all his people, he would outweigh them all." Like, these are the stories that these people make, like nothing tangible, all BS. Muhammad has a power of 72 men, therefore he's justified to have as many wives as he does. And now he's like, oh, he's so heavy. Okay, if he was so heavy, how the hell was he riding all these donkeys? Oh, let me make up another BS excuse. Well, Allah gave the donkey the special power to lift 1 million men at his back. And these are all the stories that they make. Just another story just before that. I wanted to talk about this. I need your opinion on that too. They say that Islam, women were so oppressed before Islam and blah, blah, blah. Let me actually find that with reference. It's just a page before. I think it's page number 69. Oh, yeah, I remember. It's the fact that the page is 69 and it's about Muhammad's father's sex life. Prophet Muhammad, father Abdullah, he was, the two stories about him. Once he was on his way and his father had married him off or decided to marry him off with Bibi Amina, Muhammad's eventual mother. But then there was this woman who came to Muhammad, Abdullah, and she said, "Why don't you marry me?" And he said, "Nope, sorry, I'm not going to go against my father's wishes, and I'm just going to, go and marry this woman that my father has decided for me, has picked for me." So he goes, marries her, but the very next day, look at this guy. Look what then they have the audacity to tell us. Look at it. So he's like, Muhammad's dad must have been thinking. He's like, actually, let me bring that up. Let's have a look. So Muhammad's father does his business with Bibi Amina, and then he goes, what about that other sexy offer that I had? I must make full use of it. There it is. It is alleged that Abdullah consummated his marriage immediately and his wife conceived the apostle of God. Then he left her presence and met the woman who had proposed to him. So he's trying to double dip there. No, not double dip. He's trying to be a two-timer there. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, I've got this one sorted. I've got this lady sorted. So I better see if the offer still stands." Imagine all you naughty boys. You go to a girl makes a move on you, but you go for a friend, and then you do that thing, and then you go back to the first girl. Does the offer still stand? Can I still, deep dive? Anyway, so he goes. Abdullah goes to her, asks her why she did not make the proposal that she made to him the day before. So now she's like, "Bugger off, mate." To which she replied that the light, again, there's another light. Now this time it's coming from Muhammad's daddy's forehead. When she's pregnant, obviously the light had already transferred in Bibi Amina's womb. So the light that was with him the day before had left him, and she no longer had need of him. That light is already gone. So she had heard from her brother Warqa bin Nawfal. That's the same guy who was Khadija's cousin, who basically gave the idea, who had been a Christian, and he said, "Oh, Muhammad's arrival has already been foretold in our Christian scriptures, and the legend has it the world is still looking for those Christian scriptures that said that Muhammad's arrival was foretold. The Prophet would rise among these people." So anyway, and now then there's another story as well where he says that Abdullah went into a woman that he had beside Amina bin Wahab, daughter of Wahab, when he had been working in clay and the marks of the clay were on him. So Muhammad's daddy was dirty, like he just had this clay all over him. So she put him off. I don't know why it says she put him off. I think she was put off maybe when he made a suggestion to her because of the dirt that was on him. He then left her and washed and bathed himself to make himself, appear more presentable and sexy and smell nicer. And as he made his way to Amina, he passed her and she invited him to come to her. Now he's smelling nicer and he's cleaner. He says, "Oh, Abdullah, why don't you come to me?" And then we can let's make prophet babies. Anyway, that didn't happen. He refused and went to Amna, who conceived Muhammad. But then again, even in the second story, he came back for does the offer still stand? So when he passed the woman again, he asked her if she wanted anything. Look at this. He said the next day he walks past her, he sees her, he's like, do you need, do you want something? Do you want my company? Do you want me to, what you wanted yesterday? So anyway, she refused it. And she says, "No, sorry, I don't want anything. The light that was coming from your forehead is gone. I know that you've left that magical seed of yours in some other depository." so anyway, that's just the second story. So amazing, very rich, coming from people like Muhammad Hijab, that they tell other people, "Oh, mom's career is the best career they've ever had." And Abdullah, actually, you know what? There's another point. I just thought of it. So Muhammad got his very promiscuous ways from someone. It had to come from somewhere. Now we know his daddy. His daddy was the greatest playboy of all, the Casanova of Arabia. So, anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't let the dad take all the credit. Maybe he got it from his mama too. Like this is exactly what I wanted to say. If you look at Amina, she was not Muhammad's mother. Basically, she was not confined to the house, like raising Muhammad. That wasn't even like obligatory or like further on her. It was not prescribed that, oh, now that you're pregnant with this child, it is entirely your duty to raise it, because at that time there was that concept of misyar, which was like it's not even like a marriage as we know it today. It's essentially, this is so progressive, women, guys, what we should have right now in the modern day, women, surprise, surprise, controlled who they slept with. You could literally, exactly like that woman that what's it called, proposed or propositioned Muhammad's father, that was happening left, right, and center all over that was the done thing in the tribe. So in the same way, like Muhammad's mother could have done that the night before or the night before, and you basically could go, you could have a nice time, do whatever you got to do, and stay together for like 3 days. It's not even considered a marriage. You stay in one person's home together, have your fill of each other for 3 days or whatever, and then go separate ways. And you carry on, and then the next person shows up, and if you take a liking to him, same thing again. It repeats. So it is so starkly different from the concept of what Islam prescribes as marriage. In Islam, men can marry 4 times. A woman must only be married to one man at one time. In Islam, if your husband divorces you, because only, like Islamically, he has the unilateral right to divorce, okay? And if he regrets it and wants to get back with his wife, the wife has to sleep with a different man before she can reconcile with her husband for the divorce that he gave her, because only he had the right to give her that. So again, even a step further, Muhammad in the Hadith says that a woman who arranges her own marriage is an adulteress. He turned the table on every known custom and practice that was done there, where women had agency, probably because his own mother was like, "Nah, sorry, I wasn't really ready for a child, and this is a lot of work, and actually, Halima, just take him for a bit, get him out of my hands." Who knows if the other woman, if Abdullah hadn't lost the light or nur of his eyes or whatever, and actually slept with the other woman, who knew? Maybe she might have raised Muhammad and he might have turned out different. But yeah, I just wanted to say that even just from that one story, you can see the complete contrast on what the general concept of partnerships, marriage, raising children, family, all of that was like, and how Islam has flipped it on its head and just suffocated women in the process.
Just a little correction. So you just explained as muta, and then misyar doesn't have a fixed term. So these guys were doing misyar, and so misyar, the Sunnis follow misyar, and Shias follow.
No, actually, I just want to say the concept I just described was halala. in the divorce segment, and the concept I'm referring to with what Muhammad's mother would have done, and the woman that I can't say that word today. The woman that approached Muhammad's father did, that was misyar, which was pre-Islamic tradition that was happening. And the concept about a wife having to sleep with another man before she can get back with her husband, that's halala. Mutta is also different. It's temporary marriage, and it was more Shia related. But yeah, it's also been.
I know the same misyar is the pre-Islamic tradition, but the current understanding of misyar is that you don't fix a term, and but as a wife you can forego certain rights. Like a husband doesn't have to take financial responsibility of his wife, so that is accepted by Sunnis. Muta is the one where they actually literally say, which was common in Muhammad's time. There's one hadith that said that Muhammad outruled it, and that's why. But that's a hadith, and obviously she doesn't believe in that hadith. That's why they continue on with that. With that tradition. In Muta, you can actually go to a woman, and like for that one, for example, that woman could have gone to Muhammad's father Abdullah and said, "Hey, look, just bang me senseless for 3 days." That would have been. But misyar is slightly, apparently, a bit more respectable. So like, there's no fixed term, because if you fix it, then that's just like prostitution. What's the difference between hiring an escort and say, "Hey, here's 1 week. There's I don't know, whatever the rate is, $10,000, $20,000, and we do whatever we do." But then after that, I don't know you, you don't know me. But in misyar, you can't do this. In Sunni tradition, you can't do this. In that one, you just can't ask your husband, "Hey, what about my school fee, or whatever, my like who's going to pay the electricity bills or the house rent or whatever." So I think that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's just a fixed term thing. That's not really a thing. They're both just, you go about your own life. You come to, as Haris was saying, there's no like financial expectation. There's no underlying gender role. Like, you're supposed to do this now, or you're this, and you're my wife. Therefore, you cannot look at, raise your eyes in front of another man and be alone with him. There's not that kind of thing at all. But yeah, that was generally that is misyar in general.
If you like these videos and want to support me in my activism, then you can support me on Patreon or PayPal. Stay free, everyone.